Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Sunday. This is Devils After Dark, coming to you live from the Primetime Radio studios inside the bunker in an undisclosed location in beautiful New Jersey. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. I'm your host, Sam Woo. Not happy right now. Scotty is racing home from Crypto.com Arena as he was there for the debacle. Devils losing to the Kings 5-1 tonight. We are going to go over everything right now here on Devils After Dark as we're waiting for Scotty. But I was expecting a better result. I was expecting the team to come together on this West Coast trip. The team needed 5 out of 6 points minimum before heading home Tuesday against the Florida Panthers, the 2023 Eastern Conference champions. Instead, they got beaten royally by the Los Angeles Kings. This Devils team, as it stands right now, is not a playoff team and is not a good team. And now we have to question, where is this all heading before trade deadline? Do I dare ask, and I see people commenting on the YouTube Live, on Facebook Live, is this Lindy Ruff's last game? And it's a good question. Now, you know our good friend of the podcast, also my co-host of Stay the Fan Address, pucksandpitchforks.com, editor-in-chief. We don't like calling for people's jobs. It's not something we want to do. It's not something we wish upon others, whether it's hockey, regular jobs, whatever, in your everyday life. But this one, the question was asked during Game Day Live and in the comment section. I forgot who asked, what happens if the Devils lose tonight? And this is during pregame. What happens if the Devils lose badly tonight? Is Lindy going to be still coach when they come home Tuesday against the Florida Panthers? I kind of sidestepped the question, but now that question is pretty real because this is a game the team needed to win. They got off to a quick start, a lucky bounce, Timo Meier putting it in the net, finally giving the Devils a 1-0 lead, the first to score of either team. But right now, changes need to be made. Do we blame Lindy for all this? He's partially to blame. I think there's a lot of blame to go around. Tom Fitzgerald as well, the players. It was a team effort of where this team is right now in the standings in the Eastern Conference and the Metropolitan Division. We knew that the Metropolitan Division was going to be tough. We knew that the Metropolitan Division was going to be very, very competitive. What compounds the issue of this West Coast trip, what I wanted to see and what we were hoping for, or what I was hoping for, was good teams come together at these moments during a season when the going gets tough. You beat the San Jose Sharks. You should have beaten them, and you beat them well. But against the Ducks, Nico Dawes pulled. The Devils struggle to fight back, claw back in that game, a game that they should have won at the Honda Center in Anaheim. Fell short. Jack Hughes not burying a penalty shot in a clutch moment with 2.1 seconds left against Anaheim. And compound that with tonight's debacle 5-1 loss to the Los Angeles Kings, who are a tough team. They're looking to get into the playoffs. And now fans are going to be pissed, as they should be. Raising season ticket prices 10, 12%. But you have to ask yourself right now, as a New Jersey Devils fan, when's enough's enough? And I know a lot of fans have been criticizing me about my support for Lindy Ruff. But right now, it's not about Lindy Ruff. It's about the team. What changes need to be made? And let's just not have a knee-jerk reaction and just make changes just to make changes' sake because you're just pissed. But you have to look at this season as a whole. Did the team play hard in the third period? Did they put enough effort in? Defensively, the mental mistakes, careless mistakes, attention to detail was lacking, like it has been lacking all season long. Inconsistency on the defense. Sure, they came out second half of the season after the All-Star break simplifying their game, but you know what? Now we're back to the same old Devils. The goalie situation, you're putting unproven goaltenders in. Vitek Vanacek hurt. Nico Dawes playing a lot of games. Akira Schmid coming back from the AHL, although he hasn't played poorly. But the media questioning Tom Fitzgerald about not making the proper moves to prevent what has happened right now with the goaltending, the defense. Right now, we have to evaluate because during the offseason, the Devils were one goaltender away from being a serious Stanley Cup contender. Going into this season, you knew you were going to lose Severson and Ryan Graves, but then the injuries started to happen. Dougie Hamilton lost for the year. You lose that offensive presence on the blue line, who had 70-something points last season. And then Siegenthaler out for some considerable amount of time. You're relying on Simon Nemec, Luke Hughes, Kevin Ball, very young, inexperienced defensemen, which is half of your blue line. Plus, there was the injury to Brendan Smith, so you didn't have some depth there. I thought Hataka played pretty well in his place. Also, you have the Hockey Canada thing going on, losing two players. But right now, Is what Scotty would say time to hold them or time to fold them? That's a good question. But even if Lindy Ruff is removed from the bench, it's not going to solve the problem right away. It's just not. It could give you a little boost. Maybe there's a little kind of remorse from the players. Hey, it's on us. But accountability is going to be the big word. It goes all around. From the coaching to the players to upper management. This team, as it stands right now, is not going to the playoffs. Not at this rate. And reading some of the comments, Steve Engel says, no heart, no fight, no spine, no pulse. Max says the season from hell. Denny says, nope. Fitzy loves rough. Thank you, Denny. Matt Freudenberger says in the Facebook Live, it's sad when spring training baseball is more fun than the Devils. It's painful right now. Cody says sell, sell, sell. It is painful. Did anyone of us expected this to happen? That they would be that many games and points out of a playoff spot? Are the next 5 weeks, 6 weeks, are these going to be meaningful games? And if Lindy is not on the bench on Tuesday or Thursday or Saturday, who will be on the bench to lead this team? My choice would be Kevin Dineen. Promote him, put the intern tag on him, and let's see what he can do because he is familiar with the players. You don't want to make an irrational move here, but promote within the organization I think would be a smart move. That's just my opinion. Mike says, no balls, no grit, no toughness, no fight. These boys aren't made for the NHL. Look, we're all mad here. I've been calling for some beef, some grit. But yeah, there needs to be a shakeup of some sort. Because right now the Devils cannot go at this rate. But, I know you don't want to hear this, but if the Devils don't make the playoffs, it's not a bad thing either. You got to go back to the draft. You got to go back and reassess. A hard reassessment, top to bottom, with this organization, addressing the needs. You're going to need goaltending. We know that. But you're also going to need a defense. You're also going to need players that can hit. Players, what they say, player good in the locker room. I like to see players that have their teammates back. But right now, Tom Fitzgerald has a tough decision to make. Scotty had to endure that debacle, which I'll let Scotty talk about the seats he got at the arena tonight. as he's taking an Uber home. You know, the L.A. traffic. It's never good. So he'll be on near the top of the hour as we're talking right now about what just had happened. John L. says, you say the loss of Dougie Hamilton is significant, but it is, but what does it say about the depth of the team, how it was put together when one player can make that much of a difference? John L., that's a great point, but also realize concurrently, Luke Hughes and Simon Nemitz are playing big-time minutes for this team, and they're getting their experience right now. We are experiencing the growing pains right now. I'd rather have it for the betterment of the organization sooner rather than later. But you are correct. Tom Fitzgerald gambled. He not entirely lost completely on it, but he gambled with inexperienced, young, rookie talent on the blue line. And again, they're not completely at fault. The goaltending has been inconsistent. Vitek Vanacek goes out. Suddenly, Nico Dawes and Akira Schmid are manning the net. They're not exactly put in the greatest position for success, being asked to play at a high level as they're developing, just like Luke Hughes and Simon Nemitz. Mistakes are going to be made. But what's really painful right now, you should have beaten the Anaheim Ducks. And the Devils didn't. Jack Hughes had an opportunity to get that point in the standings. And he couldn't get a shot off. The Insane Pollock says 2-5 since the Stadium Series. It almost seems like the Stadium Series was just eons ago. That was the climax of the season for your New Jersey Devils, was that Stadium Series game. And then afterwards, against Washington, it all came crashing down. Inexcusable. Inexcusable. Daryl C. says somehow Philly is overachieving because of coaching. Well, I think, Philadelphia, I have a lot of respect for Danny Briere. They're doing things right there. And the Philadelphia Flyers, a couple years from now, are going to be really good once they put it all together. I hate to say it. St. Paul, 2 out of 6 points on this road trip. Sam, is it time? I know what you mean. And that's the question I'm going to ask. How much longer is Tom Fitzgerald going to go with Lindy Ruff? Similar scenario. Ray Shero and John Hines. Ray Shero, I thought, held on to John Hines a little bit too long. At the same time, I think possibly Tom Fitzgerald may have a little bit of a guilt trip, not giving Lindy a goaltender. And maybe a veteran defenseman or two. And just trying to ease in Luke Hughes. And originally, remember, Simon Nemitz was supposed to be in the AHL most of the year. He had to be called up. some of the comments coming in. You can find us on Facebook at Let's Go Devils Podcast, on Twitter, X, whichever you want to call it, at Let's Go Devils Pod, on our YouTube channel at Let's Go Devils, and on Twitch at Let's Go Devils Podcast. A lot has happened. But I'm telling you, you can't point it all on Lindy Ruff. But unfortunately, in this business, changes need to be made, and it's usually the coach that's got to go. If Lindy does survive this, on this 5-game homestand, if Lindy Ruff survives this by Tuesday, they need to go 5-0. But that's simply not going to happen. I don't think he's going to survive it. I thought earlier, I've said that he will probably finish the season, but that was before what we saw against Anaheim and LA in the past 3 days. I don't know if it's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. But Tom Fitzgerald's going to have to face the music. The press is going to be asking, what are you going to be doing? What's the problem here? Season ticket holders, the ones that I talked to were griping, Devil season ticket holders or Devils members, whatever you want to call them. Absolutely pissed that ticket prices were raised by double digit percentage-wise. And Billy Dean, he's saying that he's commenting on the Facebook Live. I don't see your comments. He wants to comment. I love to read his comments, but I don't see his comments on the Facebook Live. He's texting me right now. I have no idea what he's talking about. But anyway, enough about Billy Dean of Hockey on Tap. Steve Engel says something nice. He likes the jersey behind me, the green one. Yes, the reverse retro of Jack Hughes, or is it the Marty Brodeur 29? Anyway. We're waiting for Scotty. Yes, Scotty of Sirius XM Liquid Metal to head back to his Michael J. Fox Studios in Beverly Hills, California. He did not take the DeLorean out to the game tonight. He couldn't fly there. So now he's taking an Uber back home, getting back to the Michael J. Fox Studios. Yes, that's Scotty of Sirius XM Liquid Metal. I'm your host, Sam Woo. Just really talking about what just happened. Lindy on the hot seat, that's an understatement. He's really on the hot seat right now. Johnny Danks with the super chat. Thank you. I asked if we get blown out, could Lindy get fired? Yes, it was you, Johnny Danks. Thank you for reminding me. Game Day Live, Johnny Danks asked, it's certainly possible. It's certainly possible. Because what happened in Anaheim, compound that with the game tonight or today, and the whole body of work this season, less than a year removed from the historical season last year, we're really talking about possibly a change. It could be possible. Tom says Fitz didn't do one thing 2 months ago when everybody knew this team was in trouble. No roster moves, no coaching moves. Okay, Tom, I'm going to address that. In Fitz's defense, everybody knew that the Devils were in trouble. Every GM knew it. So what did they do? The price was really high. Do you think Tom Fitzgerald is that stupid to take some of the trade offers that have been rumored, especially that rumor about, to get Saros, what you had to give up? Barry Trotz was rumored to ask for the moon. Oh, yeah, you're basically going to have to give up that pipeline, or at least most of it. And Tom Fitzgerald was not going to do that. I see Scotty commenting. He's getting back to the Michael J. Fox studios. Chris Boker says, fire Lindy and sell. P.S. I still love the Devils. Well, thank you. We love you too, Chris Boker. You're entitled to your opinion. Opinions are good here as long as you can back it up. But the Michael J. Fox studios, Scotty, we're waiting on him right now. He was at the game tonight. Some Devils fans there. Paul Mixon says the Devils have a good shot at winning the lottery again. Well, they did win the lottery when they got Simon Nemec. And those NHL, they have all those rules. But, I wish this would have happened. This year's team would have been last year's team, and last year's team would have been this year's team. So you could see that, progression. But the Devils did take 15 steps forward last season, and now they're taking about 7 steps back. Dubs is like, the issue is, Sam, that we are going to have to pay that price. The Devils can't scout, pick, and develop goalies, so it needs to come from elsewhere. Agreed, but we've always said here on the podcast that the price will come down during the offseason. It's not going to be as high as they are right now, ridiculously high. I think they're overly inflated because teams aren't desperate to move their goaltenders. But they know Tom Fitzgerald's desperate to get a goaltender with this team. This team took so many steps forward that it was ahead of schedule. And suddenly Tom Fitzgerald's finding himself needing a goaltender. But also he needs his 2 defensemen to get some experience, Luke Hughes and Simon Nemec. But yeah. So as we're waiting for Scotty, don't worry, Scotty, I'm holding the fort right now. I'm holding the fort. Billy Dean says his comments were McDermott's vet D-man. When does Fitzy start getting real flack from the fans? They are getting flack from fans. Billy Dean. I still think you need to send the young D to AHL for restart. Yeah. So, I really don't know. I really don't know. What is the solution? Yeah, and I apologize to those on the Facebook Live because apparently people are commenting. They're just simply not coming up on my phone. Shame on you, Facebook. You got to work during this time period when we're on air. But the YouTube Live, if I'm not reading off your comments because I can't see them on the Facebook Live, you can certainly go to YouTube Live right now where I can see the comments. X Live is a little tricky. I know people go there to listen. It's hard because the comments only appears for like a split second and then disappears. So it's hard. But if you want to get your comments in, you can go to the YouTube Live at Let's Go Devils. Ramona Rice says, Sam, what did you really think about this game? It really sucked. I expected more. I just think that Schmid should have started. He played decent against the Ducks. Max is saying, is someone here a therapist? I'm hurting. Well, Max, welcome to Devils After Dark therapy session with Sam Woo. Are the Devils getting you down? Do you want to fire the coach and tell the GM to do something? Well, you found the right place. Toffoli, Mercer. You know, there was rumors that Toffoli wants to stay. But right now, he's the biggest asset right now for trade deadline if the Devils decide to sell. Paul Mason makes a great point. Fitz failed to get a veteran D-man when Dougie went down. He sat on $9 million in cap space for months. Yeah, just got basically a fourth rounder out of it. But yeah, just an absolute debacle in the last 3 days. Just an absolute debacle in the last 3 days. Sam, you bet on VV, really? Yeah, well, as soon as I said he was durable, guess what happened? He screwed me, Ronaldo. I'm not right all the time, but I wish Vitek would have had that chance. What happened to Vitek? I have no idea. Other than he's hurt. Lower body injury, as they say. Max says, you think the fans are going to boo them during warm-ups next year? I don't think the fans are going to do that. But if the Devils are down 4-0 in the first period against the Florida Panthers at home at the Rock, yeah, you could expect some booing. Lots of booing. This has been a very difficult season, folks. Timo Meier? He's getting better as the season is progressing, but you would expect more out of Timo Meier. At least he scored tonight. But the Devils, they've got a lot of holes to fill. It starts with goaltending. The defense, and they need to help their bottom six. Times have changed. Times have changed. Last season, we were sitting here looking at the playoffs. The Devils had probably around 80 to 90 points around this time. And things were looking good. Winning. And what makes this really hard, folks, the Rangers are doing very well right now. And I hate it when the Devils don't make the playoffs, but the Rangers do. Same with the Flyers. That Metropolitan Division, you've got to play better. You have to play better. But this team, they need more fight in them. They need to not get down on themselves, but figure it out and figure a way to get the job done. Fitzy's been extended. His contract, they gave Lindy an extension. not too long ago. Where does Lindy go? But I think it all boils down to, and I hate to say it, folks, the Devils know how many season ticket holders renewed. Depending upon that number, compounding upon what's happening on the ice, I think that's what's going to seal Lindy Ruff's fate at some point in the near future. I personally don't think he's going to survive this. I like Lindy Ruff. I support Lindy Ruff. But right now, the organization needs to make changes. And it needs to be for the betterment of the organization, and it has to be a winning culture right now. And right now, there's no winning going on. Ramona Rice, if Ramona Rice was GM of the New Jersey Devils, you know what it'd be? It'd be everybody's fired, the coaching staff. But let's not make any more excuses about the back-to-back games, the injuries. You got to put on a better performance than that. You knew that these 3 games on this West Coast trip, as other teams are leapfrogging in the standings, although the Washington Capitals lost to the Arizona Coyotes earlier, missed opportunities earlier in the season. You could have padded those wins. But no, you have to lose to the San Jose Sharks at home. You can't establish a home ice advantage because you suck at home in front of your fans. Select Boy says there's no excuse for the team playing down the competition. None. I agree. I certainly agree. I'm going to go back to the Facebook Live to see if these comments are actually showing. No. The last comment I see was from Greg Shaw. I think the owners don't want to pay for 2 coaches, make Ruff the assistant director of development, have him scout squirt games at the Ice House. Pretty funny, Greg. No, I don't think so either. But money talks. Because I talked to a lot of season ticket holders, like Tom, like Beer Baron. A lot of them are like, hey, you're going to raise it 10%, I will downgrade my seats. Talk to Matt. Same thing. They're going to charge me $8,000 for these seats. Going upstairs and watching till they get better. Money talks. Pull mix 6. Ducks are barely an NHL team who were on the second half of a back-to-back. Yeah, they were without Travis Zegras, by the way. Devils faced their backup, who was so sick that they didn't know if he could start. Matt says, guess who opted out, Sam? Matt, did you opt out? Did you really opt out? Please let me know. Please let me know. I want to know if you opted out. That seems like, whoa. Did not know that, Matt. We will talk later. Okay, so Billy Dean, I see, look, he was crying. Billy Dean was crying in our group text. I don't acknowledge him in the Facebook Live, but I actually made the point that these comments aren't working on my phone. It only says there's only one person watching, which I know is not true because I see on another screen that it's something else. But, all right. So, Billy Dean, what do you want to talk about? Yes, Billy Dean of Hockey on Tap, who is going on our Arizona-Vegas trip March 16th, 17th, when we fly out there. When the Devils take on the Coyotes and the Vegas Golden Knights, which Yeah, doesn't look good right now. Ramona says Palat needs to go. He isn't any good. His contract is hefty, Ramona. I don't think they can move that contract unless the Devils retain a lot of that salary cap. Billy Dean says, send the young D-men down to the NHL. Yeah, but who are you gonna play at this point? JP says the room you is a lost. Next coach, please. Fitzy, take the wheel. Jeffrey Vogel says, don't renew your season ticket, which will make more of a statement to upper management. Yeah, that's why they give you this deadline of February 28th or 29th? And then they charge your card on March 1st from what I hear. Selectable. I can't wait till daylight savings time. Bad loss tonight. Waiting for Scotty, a SiriusXM Liquid Metal, to come back in the studio. But yeah, not good, folks. Not good. I almost got a tear in my eye. Not good. Actually, I just got something caught in my eye. But yeah, just a bad game overall. Let's start going over this game. Let's see here. Going on to the app right now. Deneau gets a hat trick. Again, it was all Kings all night. Timo Meier scoring the lone goal for the New Jersey Devils off of that turnover, which really was assisted by the glass. Took a bad bounce. But yeah, not good, folks. Not good. But what happens to Lindy Ruff? Those that have been hollering at me on Twitter and on Facebook, fire Ruff, fire Ruff. Now, who do you want to replace Ruff with? I want to know. I'm going to hear your suggestions, your comments. Everyone's been in my ear for the last few months about Lindy Ruff. See, I told you so, Woo. Craig Best says Deneen. That's what I say. He knows everybody, all the young players through Utica. Max seconds that, Deneen. I think Kevin Deneen. Corbin says Todd McClellan. How about Woodcroft? JP says Sarge. Ramona says, right now, Sam, I will take a fat frog, whatever that means. Whatever that means. Just to let you know, we will have the 9 p.m. Eastern Let's Go Devils podcast as a part of our triple header Sunday. Max says he called Deneen and will take over from the moment we hired Lindy. Deneen will take over. I thought Lindy got hired first, then Deneen. I think that's what I thought that was what happened. Anyway. Craig Best says, Deneen head coach, a Berube assistant. I think Berube is somewhere else right now. Good question. Some get by on less. I wonder what Andrew Burnett would have been like. Well, just remember, because everybody's making this Andrew Burnett, Lindy Ruff comparison, Andrew Burnett has 2 great goaltenders in Nashville. Just remember that. Now, how would Andrew Burnett be with this team? That's a good question. We would never really know. Michael Hayes says, is Shorts Guy okay? Yes, Shorts Guy is okay. Shorts Guy is resting up for the 9 p.m. Eastern edition of the Let's Go Devils podcast. Right now, here on Devils After Dark, Scotty was at the game. But L.A. traffic, he did not bring his DeLorean. He just did not want to pay for parking with his DeLorean from his Michael J. Fox Studios. So now we wait for Scotty as he's probably heading into his studio right now, loading up. And we've still got a lot of people watching. A lot of people watching on X Live. I think there's a problem with the Facebook Live right now because I'm not getting any comments. So everyone's been shifting over to the YouTube Live. Lots of folks. Ramona making her statement, I've never liked Ruff. Shane Van Sickle says Claude Julien. Is Claude Julien really a good choice? Good question. Insane Pollock says Torch would have had this team in shape. Look what he's doing with the Flyers. You know, a lot of people were laughing when Torch was hired by the Flyers. But he really has made a difference. Chris Boker, thank you for the super chat. Says, let's go Mets. Yeah, let's go Mets. Hearing that their young prospect pitching has been playing pretty well during spring training. Maybe I should get that Let's Go Mets podcast going just to fill the time when this team is out of the playoffs for good. Let's see here. Mortensen says, I think everyone in the NHL world is wondering what happened to New Jersey. Well, this is what happened. The Devils had a great season last year, so they put themselves on notice. Teams took the Devils seriously this year as they beat the Rangers in the playoffs, got bounced by Carolina. Joseph Lindham asks a great question. When Scotty gets home, couldn't he just go back in time and be here earlier? But he left the DeLorean at home, 1.21 gigawatts. He left the DeLorean at home because he didn't want to pay for parking. That's what happened. Shane Van Sickle, Babcock, hand over your cell phones. Do you think a hard coach like Babcock, I'm not saying get Mike Babcock, but do you think a hard disciplinarian is what this team needs? It's a different generation right now. It's a totally different generation. And I see somebody entering the Michael J. Fox Studios right now. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to go, Scotty. Yeah, Scotty did not take his DeLorean today to the crypto, so he couldn't travel back in time to get on time for this podcast. But please welcome to the podcast, or our co-host, or my co-host, Scotty at SiriusXM Liquid Metal. Scotty, did you cry?
Hey,
did you cry in your Uber?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Just maybe. A little bit, a little tear, a little sadness.
Yeah.
You know. What's that jersey you're wearing? Is that like your kid's jersey from
6th grade, 1989. I was a fat, pudgy kid in 6th grade.
Can you wear that with the football helmet if we ever do a football call again this season for the next one?
You know what? I'll just do it now. I'll just do it now. because I think this has been a therapy session
Okay.
for the last I don't know how long are we going, almost an hour. That Scotty, and just to let everybody know, we tried everything we could to get Scotty on air from on location, but instead we decided, you know what? I think Scotty needs to take a ride home because cell phone battery was dying, and then I was more worried about Scotty getting home than getting a 5-minute recap, and then whoof, we don't know what happened with Scotty.
Poof.
So what?
Well, I want to thank first off everyone that I met today at the arena. I don't remember everybody's name, but I met a lot of people that listen to good old Devils After Dark and the Let's Go Devils podcast. So big horns up to you. That was very cool. Game started off really well, and then not so good after that. Not so good. Timo scores, backhander. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me goals from Timo Meyer. Ooh, yeah. I've needed a little bit more this year. But I will say Timo's playing better now. But for this team, might be a little too late. They needed this one. And then they let the Kings score 5 straight after that, including the empty netter. Power play, poo-poo. I mean, after the first period, it just seemed like the Devils kind of packed it in a little bit, surprisingly, in a must-win, must-have game. Feel like they didn't really show up again until Lindy became the gambler with about 4 minutes left in the game. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when for Sam Woo to put that small Devil's helmet on.
Hey, I do it for the fans. You need a little laugh.
Oh, boy. Thank you, Craig. I do like this hat. I actually got it at the arena, at the Prudential Center when I was back home a few weeks ago. But, yeah, just no effort in a must-win game. Nico Dawes, I've come to think that this whole Nico Dawes thing is just a showcase to trade him. Why else would we be running him out there like every single game? I feel like they're trying to get him in there as much as they can, showcase him to whomever for a potential trade. Because I know one thing that I made a mistake on is that both Kier Schmidt and Nico Dawes are RFAs after this year. I thought it was next year. It's actually this year. So you're going to renew both of them, or are you going to renew one of them? Are you seeing what Nico Dawes has if he was given the reins, or are you trying to just showcase the hell out of him to see if you can get another team to bite? Probably Calgary. You're muted there, Sam Woo.
Oh, I was about to say, I think it's backfiring.
I think it's backfiring as well, obviously. He had a great 4 or 5 games, and now it's basically gone downhill. And I could be completely wrong, but when I was sitting in there at the old Crypto today, which is a beautiful arena, it was Kids' Day, lots of young fans there. Place was packed, though. Well, I'm not going to say lots, but a good showing. You could see all the red jerseys sprinkled amongst the Black Kings jerseys. So, and like I said, I know there's a lot of transplants out here, and I've met a number of people who listen to good old Devils After Dark. So big horns up to you. It was my pleasure.
Hopefully we get to meet them in Arizona and Vegas.
I hope we do. I'm sure we will as well. Arizona and Vegas. But yeah, it dawned on me. I'm like, they are showcasing Nico Dawes, aren't they?
Yeah. Remember that press conference that they wanted him to get some NHL shots?
Yeah. I mean, do you extend both of them next year? Or do you pick one and go with it? A la like they did with Huituk and Kevin Ball. Very similar players. Hard-hitting, defensive. You had to pick one or the other. Huituk was part of the Timo deal, and he went. Is that what's going on over here? I don't know, Sam Woo. But it sure does seem like that might be the scenario over here.
I'll tell
Are
you
the Devils going to go out and get a top-run goalie and then use like an Akira Schmid or a Nico Dawes, whatever one they decide to re-sign, as a backup?
Is that the reason why they played Dawes so many games in a row? See, that hip is
That's what I'm saying.
No problem. That hip is
That's
fine.
what I'm saying.
It's kind of like a used car salesman, you know. It's like that hip is fine. See, he played 7 in a row.
Yeah. Don't worry about that hip.
Yeah.
It's good. You see the outdoor game? It's amazing.
Yeah.
Watch the outdoor game. That's something.
Yeah. Just only watch that, please.
Just that. Those 4 games. That's about it.
Yep.
Because Nico Dawes has come crashing back down to earth. And going from having the best week in the NHL, that one particular week, to now being, let's face it, below average. What did he give up? 4 goals on 14 shots today, I think?
Softies will kill morale. And elite goaltenders don't give up softies that often. And when they do, they're lights out. So it was... Scotty, you know what? It's I'm not throwing in the towel yet on the season because I don't believe in that. But right now, we have to be realistic before trade deadline.
They need to. I don't know. I think they need to sell. But I think there's going to be. I really didn't. Like I said, I had it in my head that both Dawes and Akira Schmid had one more year, but they don't. They're both restricted free agents this year.
Well,
so you could sign both. You could. But you have Vanacek coming back for one more year. Is that something that you do? Or do you try to package one of these goalies in a deal? I don't know. It's things that Mr. Fitzgerald has to be looking at. But it really just dawned on me today. I was just like, Dawes again? Like, oh, they're showcasing him. That's what's going on. That's why they keep running him out there over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Is it going to be someone like Markstrom? I don't know. I see a lot of people saying that. Saros? Yeah, I don't know. Markstrom seems to be pretty fed up with the old rumor mill at this point.
Yeah.
And you have to get him to waive his no-trade clause to make a movement. So I don't know if he's going to do that or not right now. And especially the fact that the Flames just passed the Devils in the standings, by the way, with 2 goals from Yegor Sharangovich last night. Oh, the irony! Oh, the dramatic irony! Sam Woo, I can't take it.
Unreal.
But yeah, it really is unreal. But they're a bubble team that's on the rise, as opposed to the Devils, who are a bubble team that's on the fall here. So, yeah. But very disappointing game. It really was. The first period was okay. They were hitting. They had some good opportunities. Hell's bells. They outshot I got to look. They outshot the Kings by a significant amount there in the first period. Of course, it was 2-1 by the end of it. And Denal got his hat trick, yeah. What was the first period shots over here? 11-7, and then only 6 in the second period. 14 in the third. Yeah, they got some good opportunities at the end, but by the way, the Kings never broke double digits in shot totals. 7-9-7. 5 goals on 23 shots. That is just brutal. And of course, one of them is an empty netter, so. But still, this game started off so promising. 15 seconds in, friggin' Timo Meier. Hustle goal by Nico Hischier, making it happen. Fighting behind the net and then eventually getting that pass. The Timo. Man, you're like, all right, here we go, boys. Here we go. And then Talbot, what? It's like the curse of the Rangers coming back. This guy over here. Oh, wait, this guy. He turned it on, though. Looking like he did like 5-6 years ago. And that was it. After that first period, that second was abysmal. And right by then it was already 4-1. Kings play good defense. See the difference in the defensive structure of the Kings and the Devils. I will say one thing I did like. I know it's something that we've talked about here. In the first period, Luke Hughes took a big hit, and Colin Miller actually went in there and responded to it. I don't know if they showed it on TV or not, but he did give a couple shots to whoever it was from the Kings that took a big hit on Luke. So I did like seeing that.
Scotty?
Sam?
I've got a question.
Oh, boy.
I'm not sure if I should save this for the 9 p.m. Eastern edition.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Does Lindy survive to the next game?
Listen. If this was Lou Lamoriello, nope. He would have already been gone, and we would have Coach Lou Lambs once again behind that bench.
Coached by committee? Coached by committee? Lou, Sarge, and Travis?
I think Fitzy will give Lindy to the end of the season, but I think this team needs someone more defensively sound. And you know what, Sam? You've been using this this example of the Florida Panthers, and you can look how they've kind of transferred their game under Paul Maurice now, who still is going to push some offense, but let's face it, you got to play with defensive structure underneath him.
Yeah.
Whereas we know Lindy's scheme is just full speed ahead.
Aggressive.
Very, very, very aggressive. And how many times can we say it? 3 defensemen that should be on your bottom pairing, and you have them spread out across all 3 lines. If you had Ball just down on your third pairing, you could hide him. If you had Luke just down on your third pairing, you could hide him. Nemec, you could hide him. You can't hide all 3. It's just the way it is. And then you have goaltending that is suspect. Nico Dawes had a great run there for about a week or so, and now he's come crashing back down to earth.
At least he got us a Stadium Series win.
He got us the Stadium Series win, so good on you, buddy.
Yeah.
But same thing with Akira Schmid. There was such a high on him after the playoffs last year, and he came crashing back down to earth. And not even an average out, it's like a below average situation here for both of them. 4 goals on 14 shots. Sheesh. So, even if they bottom, if they went back to just average, it'd be something. But they've dropped below that. And it's hard to win like that. When your goals against average is more than your goals for, and you're playing on a team like the Devils, that's not a good sign. because they have a very high goals for average. But when you're third in the league in goals against, it's not good. Or I should say, what, like 29th in the league, actually.
Yeah.
That's not a recipe for success.
Craig Best says Fitz needs to go behind the bench and take action and accountability, put confidence back into the team he built, and own accountability as well. Remember that time when Fitzgerald was on the bench with John Hines?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? To see what's going on?
What's going on? What's going on? By the way, just to clarify, Devils 9th in goals for, 3.31. 26th in goals against, 3.49. Is that the team or is that the system? That's a question I think a lot of Devils fans can rightfully ask. Now the other question is going to be, is this who they are? Did they just way overperform last year? I don't think so. I think they're playing below where they should be. I think they overperformed, obviously, last year, being it was the best season in Devils history, wins and points wise. But would I say they were the best team in Devils history? Hell no. They had a lot of things lined up for them last year. It's not lining up the same way this year.
Mm-hmm.
And there's lots of reasons to go around. We've discussed them all. But defense, man, you got to bring in a shutdown defender, Sam Woo. I'm not sure who it's going to be, but you need someone who is big and physical and a shutdown defender to help this team out.
Does he exist?
You also need... What's that?
Does he exist?
They're out there. Some of them will... There's a couple potential free agents. You may have to make a trade, but... And then you got to find better goaltending. Last year, Vitek Vanacek was clutch with those timely saves. This year, it hasn't been the same deal. He's a gamer, no matter what. We know Vitek's going to go out there and give it his all, but we haven't seen the same results. Your offense is still scoring pretty well, even with all the injuries and the inconsistent years from Timo Meier and Dawson Mercer. Jesper Bratt and Nico Hischier have led the way, especially Jesper Bratt. But you gotta find a defenseman, and you gotta find a solid goaltender. A number one, not a 1B. You need a true number one goaltender. That's what this team desperately needs. Is that a Jacob Markstrom? I don't know. I don't know what that package would entail.
I don't think Jacob Markstrom is going to take the New Jersey Devils to the Stanley Cup final. So
I don't think so either.
And what's the point at that point?
Well, they need, if they get defensemen as well. But don't forget, you're going to have some people then, that need some resignings. You got to decide, are you resigning Schmidt and Nico Dawes? What's going on with Dawson Mercer? What are you going to do with Tyler Toffoli? Dougie Hamilton will be back. There's $9 million. Poof, gone. But if you do the math, it's almost close to about $20 million they have in cap space. But are they bringing back? I think Chris Tierney is a free agent. Are you bringing him back on a low deal? Noshik, I think, the same thing. You have guys that you need to replace as well. If you spend that $6 million on Markstrom, because now the note is that the Flames don't want to retain any money on him. I don't know. Is that worth it? Or do you try to spin some other deal in the offseason Or so I got to look at goalie free. I'm not sure who's a free agent right now, or who's gonna be. I was trying to focus on this season, Sam Woo, before the off season. While we're still in this season, I wasn't trying to look at the off season already. Yeah, the Rangers did re-sign Quick. I don't know if that was a smart move or not, but
Hopefully not.
hopefully not. Yeah. Yeah, that Palat contract is a tough one right now. It's a lot of money right there. So, I mean, that's what I say. K-Mac had some good hits in the first period, but then I feel like I didn't see him on the ice after that. Max saw some good physicality from him. Like I said, the Devils were out hitting the Kings. I'm gonna look at the stats on that one. Saturday, no, today is Sunday, because I think the Devils had a decided edge in hits. Yeah, 23-14. So a lot of that was old McDermott, like Norm Macdonald when he would do the David Letterman. Norm Macdonald.
Select a boy with the super chat. I can't wait for April.
Woo! It's tough. Now, the thing is, the Devils sort of have this get out of jail free card as long as they keep it close, because as Sam Woo and I have discussed, their last 2 games of the season are against Philadelphia and the Icelanders.
Mm-hmm.
Teams all right there in the mix. So if whatever reason the Devils do keep it close, these last 2 games of the year might be pretty important, as Larry David would say.
We're going to need to have a viewing party for that game against the Flyers on that Saturday. We'll have to figure that one out if they're close. If they're close.
They got to stay close. But they have these 2 little gems right there at the end of the season that can be highly impactful. So, I don't know. Do I like the chances? Obviously, I'm not thrilled with where they are right now. They've squandered all their games in hand. They've lost to teams that they should have beaten. And now, to really get there, they got to play at an incredible pace. And I don't know if this team is capable of it. They were in a must-win game today, and they looked out of gas after the first period.
Well, play the Panthers on Tuesday. Thursday, they play the Blues. On the 9th, they play the Hurricanes. Steve Engel will be there.
Hey, Steven Engel.
But he won't be talking to Alejandra. And then they've got the Rangers on the 11th on Monday.
Oh, goody.
And then when's their next game after that? Trying to look on the app. Oh, yeah, and then they play the Stars.
Oh, great.
And then they play the Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah!
I can't believe how close we are to our Arizona-Vegas trip.
I know. It is right around the corner. So if anyone happens to be in Arizona, AZ, and Las Vegas, Viva Las Vegas. I saw Snatch the other day. Whenever Benicio del Toro comes on, he's Frankie Four Fingers, I think that's his name. The Viva Las Vegas, because he's a gambling addict.
Oh.
Pops on the screen. Gets him in trouble all the time.
Oh.
Talking about Frankie, I got a problem with gambling. Bleeping Four Fingers, Doug.
Well, Scotty.
Well, Sam. Another one in the books. And alas, I knew this was true all along. I am not a good luck charm. I just got lucky in the first 2 games that I saw the Devils play, where I was 2-0. I am now 2-1 on the season with being at games. Hopefully, I will improve my record in Arizona and Vegas, but right now, 2-1. Was hoping to bring some luck to this team today. It did not happen. But fellas, you got to wake up. You're going to want that cowbell. You know? Go out there like you're playing to the cowbell. That's what you want. Make it happen. But they got to play with some more juice.
Pizzazz. Yeah.
First period was okay. Second, third, not so much.
Max says, Sam, if we make the plays, can you shave your head? Actually, I used to have a shaved head back in the day.
NFZ. Craig Best says it's not pizzazz, it's NFZ. Yeah, that's another thing that we need as well. Well, I'm saying you need a D-man that's going to install some fear on that blue line, and you need a solid goaltender. You don't even need like a lights-out goaltender. You just need some consistency.
I think they need the C word is consistency. Goaltending, defensively, even on offense, the turnovers, you got to cut them down. I think they look like a desperate team right now with those home run passes. Their outlet passes, they're not crisp. The puck was bouncing all night long. Same against Anaheim. They got to get back to basics, and they've gotten away from it because they're looking too much at the standings right now, and they're not a confident team. Simply not.
And today, I will also say, too much passing on the power play again. It looked like they were trying to make that extra pretty pass every single time, and it was just shoot the puck, guys. Just shoot.
And go hard to the net, really. I mean,
next thing I was just going to say, no traffic in front of the net today. No traffic.
Yeah, it seemed like they had their skates were cemented on the ice during the power play with guys standing in front of the crease. Like, you got to move around. You got to cause chaos. You got to bump into the goalie a little bit. Just a little love tap, but nothing to draw a penalty. But you got to be a distraction, and they just don't have that right now.
The Devils' Damon Severson this season. Look at that. Selecta coming through with the comment of the day right there. I know that one's going to put a smile on Sam Woo's face.
You should have just let him go to Seattle. It would have been all different.
Oh, man. All right. Well, let's wrap it up. Think about some things because, the next show is coming along in just a short amount of time here.
9 p.m. Eastern.
9 p.m. Eastern. 6 Pacific. So, yeah. Take a little breather. Take a little deep breath. Gather your thoughts. Stephen Engel, what's wrong with Miller? He can't hit the net. That's what's wrong with him.
Yeah, that's another
He's
thing.
got a rocket of a shot, but he can't friggin' hit the net.
Why don't you take 10 miles per hour off that shot and just actually, get it on net? I'd be happy with that.
Be a lot better.
But if you're going to miss the net, hit one of the opposing teams,
Something.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's what's wrong with that.
Scotty, before we end this podcast, wanted to ask you, where were you sitting tonight? Because I didn't get you your ticket tonight. So.
You did not. No, you did not get my tickets tonight. No, I want to thank my good friend Michael Gerber, who works down over there at the arena, for hooking me up with some amazing tickets in the old fancy section there. There were great seats, so I truly appreciate it. Had a beautiful view of the game. Beautiful view of the game today.
Yeah, you were with amongst celebrities as well.
No, but yeah, but maybe,
okay.
you know,
I was trying to hype it up.
Maybe like 10 boxes over from me, you know,
Yeah.
like they don't let me get that close, Sam Woo, but
Yeah.
you know,
But
yeah.
I thought you were hanging out with Al Michaels after the game. You know.
No, Bailey the Lion, the Kings mascot. That's who I was chilling with. We had a beer after the game. you know?
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He likes Modelo like me, so you know, you never know.
Oh, okay. Very nice. Very nice.
But yeah, tough one. The game the Devils needed to win, they don't come through on, and they don't lose in a tough way either. They got the game taken to them tonight, which is really, really tough, and it leaves a lot of question marks on the table. Defense, goaltending, coaching. These are all things that are going to need to be addressed in the relatively near future. As we are just a few days away from the trade deadline, what will Fitzy do? And has he just been showcasing Nico Dawes? Like my new theory. It just dawned on me.
It's a good theory.
We'll see.
It's a good theory.
We'll see. Thank you, everyone, for this edition of Devils After Dark. YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Twitch, Instagram. Woo! Big horns up to you. And everyone I saw out there at the crypto today. Rock and roll.
Awesome. And we will have the Let's Go Devils podcast Sunday edition, 9 p.m. Eastern edition, in about 75 minutes from now. Dropping the podcast in 20 minutes. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get our podcasts. Till next time, let's go Devils.